Yes, Frank?
Welcome back to our channel. It's been a while. I really haven't had a whole lot of time for much of anything, taking care of my wife. So she broke her arm. Well, she didn't break her arm. She broke her humerus bone. She fell at work. So I've just been busy doing laundry, housework. My wife needs help with bathing and, you know, all that personal crap. So I just haven't had time to do anything. So hopefully I can get this done in February, but I highly doubt if this Black Beauty will be done in February. So I know I'm going to run past the deadline, but it is what it is. Okay, I'll tell you what I was able to do though. I think the last update you saw me put the wiring in the Black Beauty. We made little light boxes. Because the frame doesn't fit exactly well with the body. I would have had light leaks everywhere, so this kind of contains any light for the most part to the area where I want it. So I showed you that, and we're using the SMDs I got from Jerry at HDA, those itty bitty ones that are pretty much on a magnet wire. They're so small, but you saw that. So we got that, and then I did one of the wheels, one of the Apache wheels. I did it up like a Dean did. Oh, come on. There we go. So you can kind of see that. And I got to do the other three. My hand isn't as steady as it used to be, so trying to do them spokes like Dean painted the real ones it's a little bit tricky for me. I'm just using a fine point Sharpie because I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to do that with a brush. I'll be all over the place with a brush. So my only option was a fine point Sharpie. So it wouldn't look as bad. But anyway, that's the Apache wheels. You already saw this. I think I already showed this. What I'm working on is the interior. I wanted to put figures into this interior. And this interior, when they designed this interior, it was not meant for figures. I can see why Aurora didn't put figures in it. Unlike the Aurora Batmobile, the 132nd Batmobile, it has figures. This interior, I think whoever designed it, it just wasn't meant for figures. So I bought some 132nd figures, which didn't fit, way too big to fit in the bench seats. I bought some, well, I didn't buy any. I went downstairs, got me a 135th Army kit, cheap Army kit, and pulled the figures out of that. And those were too big, they didn't fit. So 132nd didn't fit, 135th didn't fit. 148th was too small. So it was somewhere in between there. But I thought, well, the easiest thing for me to do is 3D print some figures. So I got online, I got me an STL of a driver figure. It's actually a crash dummy. And I printed them up in all different sizes. I didn't know. I just thought, well, I'm just going to print up like 4 or 5 different sizes. And hopefully one of these will fit. I got some itty bitty ones here. I got some bigger ones. And then I got these were the biggest ones that I decided to go ahead and use for this. So these are printed in resin. I did this one at first, but after I had him in there, I thought he was too small. Oops, sorry, to close the camera. I thought he was too small. Didn't look right after all. So I went to the bigger figure, which looks more correct to me. It looked good when I was in here, but once I put the bucket into the body, this guy looked too small. So I went to the next size up. But even that, I still have to really modify these figures to get them to sit in the chairs. The problem is that the fact that the bench seats in here are so close to the floor that they don't have much of a riser. So they're almost pretty much sitting on the floor. So I have to really modify the legs in order to get them to sit in there. So this guy here, I really had to do a lot of chopping on, and he looks kind of funny. He looks kind of like a midget, but that's how I have to do it in order to get it sit in the chair. And I figured, you know what, who cares, because once he's in here, you're not going to see a whole lot of him as far as his legs and stuff. So I thought, even though he kind of looks funny out of the interior bucket, when he sits in it, he looks okay. So anyway, we've got the Green Hornet done. I just chopped the legs and arms to get him to fit in there. I used Amazing Sculpt to put the hat on his head, which I'm still shaping, but he's got the hat on his head. So I think he's pretty much done. We'll just use paint to paint the trench coat that he wore. Well, not trench coat, the long coat he wore. And we'll just use paint to put his clothing on. The Kato figure, I have to put his driver cap on. He's sitting down a little further in the bench seat because I thought Kato was a little shorter than Van Williams. So I got him, and I can raise him up just by putting some, like I did with Van Williams, or the Green Hornet. I just used some Amazing Sculpt on his butt because the butts are flat with these figures. So by putting a butt on them, I can raise the height of the figure. And that's how I did the Green Hornet, to raise him up to get him to sit taller in the chair. Dashboard, you can see all that filler I had to use on the dashboard. It's got like a huge gap in there, but we'll paint all that up. You won't see all that, but yeah, we got Green Hornet sitting in the back, and he looks pretty good. He looks real good with the bucket in the car. It looks pretty cool. I see somebody sitting in here versus all the years I built this kit as a kid, and I've always wished it had figures, and it never did. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. But that's Green Hornet. We're still working on Kato. I got him to fit in there. And next thing I'm going to have to do with Kato, I have to take my razor saw. I'm going to have to cut the arms to swing them out, because as you can see, the steering wheel doesn't fit his arms. They're too far in, and we have to take his arms and cut them and then swing his arms out so his hands are around the steering wheel. So we got to do that. That's my next step. And then once we get the figures finally fitted into the bucket, then we can start putting the interior together and detail painting it and all that fun stuff. So that's that. And that's really all I got. As I said, I've just been taking care of the wife, and really don't have time to do any kind of modeling or anything else until she gets a little bit better to where she can do a few things on her own. You don't realize how much even though she's right-handed and it's her left shoulder, you don't, until you can't use it, you don't realize how much you rely on your shoulders to get things done that you need to get done. So, alright guys, I think that's it. Alright, take care, we'll see you.